I'm Stuff reporter Philip Matthews, and Munted is my perspective on the Christchurch earthquakes. Over 7 episodes, we'll show how and why a New Zealand city was munted, first by Mother Nature and then by politics. Coming up on episode 1 of Munted, a sexy thing. Very polite protesters. And weddings.
He was completely screwed over.
In this episode, we find out what a former TV host turned mayor does when his quiet city gets eventful. Christchurch in September 2010 was a small city just coming out of winter. Former TV host Bob Parker had been mayor for 3 years, and his problems were small compared to those on the horizon.
The biggest single underlying issue for our city is that we have an ageing population.
Council elections were imminent.
Tonight is Bob Parker and Jim Anderton, the MP for Wigram, and a humdinger of a mayoral contest. Why is a man who was 30,000 votes in front last election now behind in the polls?
We're certainly on the back foot, and that was a wake-up call for me.
The city felt cosy and nostalgic. Some might say it was even a little bit boring, but that's how we liked it.
You control the means of communication. You control the meaning of the word real.
We liked the pleasant fiction of being the Garden City, or the most English city in New Zealand. We liked the past, and we weren't fond of change.
So you're welcome aboard this tram, built in 1910 here in Christchurch.
What happened when this small, ordinary city was hit by a series of major earthquakes? What did that do to its people? And what did that do to its politics? 2 narratives quickly emerged after the September 4 earthquake. The first said we were lucky that no one died. Christchurch dodged a bullet.
In some ways, we've been extraordinarily lucky.
In many respects, we're incredibly lucky.
It's sad what's happened, but we're bloody lucky, you know, really, really lucky.
I think that's absolutely miraculous that we did it and nobody lost their lives.
It was miraculous that nobody was killed.
That belief in good luck added to a sense of excitement, even exhilaration, in the days after the earthquake. This man just endured a major natural disaster, but he's grinning like he won lotto. Or maybe he is in shock.
Well, I woken up and couldn't even get out of bed because the place was just, it was wobbling. Never felt anything like it in Christchurch or New Zealand before. It's incredible, nothing like it, yeah.
Lee, you were best man at a wedding.
Correct.
Tell us about the day. I mean,
The day was completely screwed over. We managed to get all the speeches and stuff done, and then we thought, well, bugger it, we'll come back here, have a party. If we had an aftershock, the only thing I'd be worried about is obviously my son in that room, and also the wagon with the piss.
The second narrative upset the mayoral race and had a profound impact on politics in the city for years to come. Veteran left-wing politician Jim Anderton intended to continue as a local MP for a year if he won the mayoralty. But after the earthquake, there was immediately talk of Christchurch needing more than a part-time mayor. Bob Parker somehow became more than a full-time mayor. He was an all-the-time mayor. He claimed he was doing 20-hour days. Some wondered if he even slept in that ever-present orange jacket. He wore it on the morning of the earthquake, and he kept wearing it for weeks after.
And I think it's so appropriate, although it's very cold out here, your sleeves are still rolled up.
Oh, yeah, that's just an old habit from years ago.
Has Bob changed his jacket in the last 3 weeks?
That's not the only thing I haven't had time to change.
Oh, we don't want to
Let's
go there,
not go there, Bob.
He became Active Bob, Emergency Bob, Bob the Rebuilder. Editorials and cartoons began to back the busy mayor and questioned if this really was the right time for a change. Some thought there was an element of performance in the Bob Parker of the earthquakes, which exaggerated a sense of crisis, and said that he should tone it down.
Absolutely brilliant to have you guys down here.
A show by sculptor Ron Muir opened at the Christchurch Art Gallery and set records for attendance. Something about the human scale, vulnerability and a shared experience seemed to speak to people. Some normality was being restored too, but some of the priorities may seem questionable in hindsight.
It's fair to say it was a hell of a mess on Saturday morning, but as you can see, we've had front-end loaders in here cleaning up a lot of the mess. Certainly for us to be able to get some beer on the road's a major step.
The elections came and went, and few were surprised that Bob was returned as mayor with what he called
Very useful majority. Okay?
Mayoress Jo Nichols-Parker saw a return to normality. Not the new normal either, but the old normal we all liked so much.
Feels to me like normality is coming back, so let's hope so.
There was now a fresh confidence surrounding the mayor. It was his city, the kingdom of Bob. In the honeymoon of his second term, he even lived out a long-held dream of rock stardom. The guitar-playing mayor appeared with his new backing band, Flying Nun legends The Bats, at a charity concert in Hagley Park. How does this song go? Some people are happy most of the time, but they don't know they're in line. But not everyone was happy, and there were signs of things to come. People in Christchurch became used to the sight of their city under benign occupation.
Now we're closing the inner city down. We are concerned about sightseers.
Soldiers were stationed at checkpoints. That was part of the Phony War feeling of the months before the fatal earthquake of February 2011. Christchurch after September had a sense of calm and unreality. The controversial demolition of the historic Manchester Courts building was a precursor of things to come. Heritage demolition was new territory.
What can people expect to see as the afternoon goes on?
I'm not quite sure. I've never done this before.
And the most middle-class protesters in the history of protest were also just finding their voice.
Mr. Mayor, no, don't let it go.
And then the city was hit again on December 26.
People screaming. The church bell's going crazy, the birds going mad. So it was really quite exciting.
There was an indignity to it this time. Retailers were hoping for a Boxing Day boom, but shoppers did get the full Christchurch experience. While the aftershock was smaller than the earthquake in September, it was closer to the city. Some sensed that something new was coming.
I just happened to walk around town and I was just thinking, heck, this is crazy. Because all this earthquake business is just building up and up and up and up and up. And it's slowly going to get to a worse earthquake so bad that the return of Jesus is going to have to come. The return of Lord Jesus Christ is going to have to come. And
but no one was to know that everything in Christchurch was about to get much, much worse. Next time on Munted. The dress rehearsal is over. It's time for the real thing.